Welcome everybody to another round of World of Tanks subscriber replays. My name as always is Maxwell, and today's first video is from the user Cannon Fodder. That's Cannon Fodder, and he's driving the FV4202 on a standard battle on the Sand River. The FV4202 being a tier 10 medium tank for the British. This tank gets a lot of stick for being probably the weakest tier 10 medium tank, of which I have no comeback because it probably is. But in the hands of a skilled driver, it can be used to some effect. It does have good acceleration, although it doesn't have a very good top speed. Its cannon is okay. It's got a decent rate of fire, but again, it's not the fastest for a tier 10 medium. If we take a look at its penetration and average damage, you can see it gets fantastic penetration and decent average damage, but the tank itself is just a little bit lackluster, doesn't excel in any one particular field. But like I said, when used by a skilled tank driver, this thing can come up big with the goods. So straight away, Cannon Fodder going to be heading to the hill on the far right hand side. This not being an encounter battle, quite a lot of people do arrange themselves in this area, and being on this hill will allow you to fire down onto them indiscriminately, picking up nice chunks of damage. See a T-54 and an AMX spotted out early on. They realise that they've been spotted and they are tucking themselves in against the mountain there in an effort to not get shot to pieces. You see the allies here way before anybody else, the VK2801 and the FV of Cannon Fodder here, both here very, very early, so they're going to be able to take up the prime locations. As you can see though, looks like the enemy team isn't committing very many forces to this area. Nobody really coming up that road there. You spot out the E100 in the distance, and that is going to be some lovely side armor of this guy, getting a great shot there. And he's just going to slowly, lazily turn his turret onto target. Unfortunately, didn't turn his body onto target, so Cannon Fodder is able to put another easy shot straight through the side armor there and pick up another bit of damage. And then the E100 realizes his mistake and starts to back away. Cannon Fodder going to be following his ally in the VK around the top here and going to try and get some shots on the rear of the enemy tanks as they move into position, but realizes that everybody has advanced just a little bit too far now, and that VK gets himself taken out by the E100. Should be able to get a nice shot on this AMX 5100. I don't think he realizes how much of a dangerous position he's in. I think he thinks he's shielded by the hill there. Did try to escape, but didn't fall back far enough and takes another good hit. That one was a little bit of a low roll, just under the average damage, so not really a low roll. Does get one hit in return, but nothing else. This AMX 5100 not trading very well at all. Does fire one back, but gets taken out early on, and that's kill number one for Cannon Fodder. Does see this E100 in the background here. With the penetration of this gun, should be able to get good damage onto the E100 even from the front. There's an IS-3 and a T-54 still around the bottom of this hill here. Got the enemy team in a dangerous position here. Most of the enemy team, as you can see, has elected to take that southern route, so this will allow the allies in the north here to just manhandle anybody that's in this area. Although, as you can see, Cannon Fodder really doesn't have that much backup. Although he is now going to come around behind this IS-3. Should be able to catch him off guard. Does take a hit from the right-hand side, but that one bounced, so he's not going to be too dissuaded by it. Does decide to drive forward and just put the sand dune between himself and whoever that was attacking. Gets a great hit on the IS-3 there to take him out. And that's kill number 2. Got to be aware that this E100 might be pushing up here. T110E5 taking shots in the face, probably from the tank destroyers camping in the base now. Cannon Fodder going to come up and offer some support to this E5. Don't let him die in vain. Does spot out the Waffenträger Panzer IV there. So it's going to mount the sand dune in an effort to try and get a shot on him. Doesn't realise that he's been spotted here. Cannon Fodder going to have a shot in the fog of war. And as you can see, that one definitely did some damage, even though he had faded away. He's going to let his gun close in and get another hit on this guy. There we go. Getting some good solid hits on this Waffenträger, who should have moved really when the first shot landed, but he got a little bit greedy and left himself out way too long there, and in the end took a considerable amount of damage that he didn't need to take. Now with him dropping back off the hill, he is the only tank destroyer left on the enemy team. And Cannon Fodder going to come over the top and take out that T-54 and then just hide himself again. And like I said, that Waffenträger is the only tank destroyer they've got, so he's probably the only guy camping the base. With him dropping down off the ridge, Cannon Fodder knew that he was going to be able to get over the sand dune and back again without taking any return damage. And now it's an opportunity to flank around into the enemy base. So like I said, probably only that Waffenträger defending the base there. There is no artillery and no other tank destroyers for the enemy team. Gets a nice shot between the buildings there. Could have rolled high enough to kill him. Unfortunately, not quite enough there. But it looks like the E5, who he protected earlier, has come up big and taken him out. Now everybody's going to make a beeline for this southern flank. The Allied team's done a fantastic job of defending here. The majority of the enemy team went south, and the few defenders that were there for the Allied team have been able to hold them off and stall them and push them back just long enough for the guys in the north here to finish off their fight and come offer some support, just letting his gun close in on the rear of the turret of the E100. Gets a good hit and then moves forward a little bit. Going to crest the top of this sand dune and just take another shot. Should be enough. There we go. Takes him out. Kill number 4. Game is very even at the moment at 9 kills to 8. Allies just about winning this one, but 9 to 8 isn't really very much when you're this far into a game at tier 10. Enemy team is sort of all clustered around the same location, so the Allies should be able to close in on them from front, sides and rear here and just keep them penned in. There is a T-62A just to the left in the base, but Cannon Fodder just going to focus on this T-57 Heavy. Did try and take a shot at his front drive wheel there just to track him, but that one unfortunately just slightly missed and bounced on his armor. Going to pop over the top now and try and get another hit on him. Got to be careful of this T-62A from the left though. Does get a great damaging hit on the T-57 Heavy, and this T-62A still pressuring from the left hand side. I don't think Cannon Fodder's noticed him. Notices him now. Has got a loaded cannon as well. Would have been able to take a shot at him there, but that probably would have just bounced on his turret. That one didn't. And then the Jagdpanzer E100 equalizes him, takes him out of the game. And that's pretty much going to be GG now. Winning this one, 12 kills to 8. Only the IS-4, T-57 and that IS-3 left. Not sure where this T-57 has gone. It looks like he's just ahead of Cannon Fodder here, but he's kind of disappeared off the map. Nobody's really got eyes on him. Probably dropped down into that ditch to reload his cannon, but he's only got a 20-some second reload, so he's been disappeared for quite some time now. I think he probably just wants to survive as long as possible. That IS-4 being sneaky behind the sand dune there. T-57 Heavy actually flanked around behind all of the tank destroyers now, but it looks like at least that T-44 was ready, and all the T-57 Heavy's going to get out of this is a little bit of damage onto that T-44, so not really coming up with what he wanted, which was kills on the tank destroyers. Cannon Fodder not going to let him get away here, knows that he's going to be reloading for the next 20 seconds, so closes him down. One good shot, takes him out, and that's kill number 5. That just leaves this IS-4 now. And everybody is going to be closing this guy down. There's nothing he's going to be able to do. He is still on 1,300 hit points. And the IS-4 does have pretty formidable armor. Going to try and hide himself behind this corpse here. Cannon Fodder going to try and pick out his slightly weaker front side armor. The one where that is just sloped differently to the front armor. Wasn't to be though at this range. Not able really to pick out the weak spots. He's going to get himself in closer. If possible, it would be good to get around behind this IS-4. See if we can get the kill onto this IS-4. That's going to be a Top Gun medal for him. And a well-deserved Top Gun medal too. The Jagdpanzer E100 just face-hugging him here. And gets around to the side of him. You've got to think that Jagdpanzer E100 didn't fire just to allow Cannon Fodder to get that Top Gun medal. So excellent sportsmanship from the Allied team there. An excellent replay from Cannon Fodder and his FV4202, picking up over 6,000 points of damage and 6 kills. So awesome replay from you. Thank you very much for sending that one in. Don't forget to stick around because as always, the score screens and another game coming right up. And our second replay of the day is from the user Colonel Cornell. That's Colonel Cornell, and he's driving the E50 on a standard battle on the Mountain Pass. E50 being a tier 9 medium tank for the Germans. A very, very good medium tank as well. It's a decent amount of hit points, pretty good cannon, and pretty good maneuverability. It's also a pretty large medium tank, so in a pinch when necessary, you can go ahead and ram enemy tanks and do considerable amounts of damage. Obviously, people take a look at you being a medium and think, there's no risk of getting rammed by this guy, but they would be wrong, as this thing is pretty damn hefty, and especially when travelling full speed or down a hill, this thing is able to do significant damage on impact. So straight away, Colonel Cornell going to be heading all the way down this left-hand flank with his allies. You can see he's got the Pershing ahead of him, IS-3 behind him, and everybody else has stopped. That Indian Panzer was coming, but I think the Indian Panzer feels the lure of the free damage of the guys crossing across the river mouth there is a little bit too strong, so he's stopped to get some shots there. As you can see, Colonel Cornell coming to back up the Pershing, who has now taken to the hill. And get himself around and gets a lovely shot on that Lorraine there. In fact, everybody gets a great shot onto that Lorraine, who loses a significant amount of hit points getting into position. I think he should have realised that most of his team weren't coming with him and probably decided on a different route. Colonel Cornell going to be pushing his advantage against this Lorraine as well. Looks like he's just going to YOLO around the corner for him, although he does spot out the WZ Centurion 1 on the left-hand side there, so thinks twice about a full-on YOLO. And he's just going to try and lure the Lorraine 40-ton into poking his head out. Does have a pretty long reload for a tier 9 tank at 8 seconds. Actually, for tier 9, that's not pretty long. I was comparing it to tier 10 mediums there, but so tier 9 and 8-second reload is pretty damn good. Just going to move forward and see if we can get eyes back onto that Lorraine there, just to make sure that he's still in position. Did get spotted out, was obviously not in range to get the proxy spot on the Lorraine. Is going to be having a look now to see if he can get a shot onto the Centurion or the WZ. Has a shot and misses, unfortunately. Lorraine 40-ton bounced on him. He's going to be angling to try and dissuade another shot, but the 40-ton gets a bit of damage through his armor now, and took his driver out, so Colonel Cornell just going to heal that one up. Looks like he's in a bit of a difficult position here. Every time he turns his gun to point at that Centurion or WZ, that Lorraine 40-ton's going to be able to pop out and have a shot at him. I think what he's doing here is just trying to take his gun off target in the hopes of luring out the Lorraine, and then he can quickly swing his gun back and get some damage onto the Lorraine. Kind of is nullifying the fact that the Lorraine's got an auto-loader at the moment, because he's only able to pop out and get one shot whenever Colonel points in a different direction. So at the moment, just playing a game of cat and mouse. Although Colonel Cornell is in the uncomfortable position of having to rely on his allies. He has to rely on the guys to his left being able to deal with the Centurion 1 and this WZ, which is unfortunate because he's got great shots on the Centurion and the WZ. Did get spotted out there, so the Lorraine's going to pop around and have another go, and just about quick enough. Colonel Cornell not getting spotted out until the last second, and he was able to swing his gun back round just in time, but wasn't loaded. Lorraine pops himself out again. Unfortunately, Colonel Cornell had an attack of bad reflexes there, which is something that happens to me very, very frequently, and just fired after the Lorraine had started to fall back. So a little bit unfortunate. Could have got a good bit of damage onto him there, but unfortunately just wasn't able to. Has another shot there just to try and lure the Lorraine out into firing. Unfortunately takes a shot in the rear from the Centurion there, and I think Colonel Cornell's had enough now, and he's just going to charge down this Lorraine. Although I think the Lorraine has 2 shots worth of hit points left in him. Missed that one, unfortunately, and has to go all the way past just so he doesn't get taken out by those tank destroyers now. He's going to have to play this one carefully. The Lorraine paying far too much attention, crashes into a rock and gets himself taken out now, and Colonel Cornell is in a fantastic position. He's got a little hill to his right-hand side blocking him from the tank destroyers, and hopefully if he's got the gun depression he'll be able to get some damage on this WZ now. There we go, takes him out, picks up kill number 2, and this Centurion 1 is going to be a sitting duck now, all the way out in the open. There's nothing he can do. Colonel Cornell has the hill to protect him. As you can see, the Centurion just bouncing there. A little bit unfortunate for him. Colonel Cornell focuses on the rear armor, takes his shot, takes him out, and that's kill number 3. So the fight is going very well in the south here. Unfortunately, it's going nowhere near as good in the north. The enemy team has pushed through with significant numbers, and they are now threatening the base. You can see there's only that E-75 in there to defend. So Colonel Cornell turns himself around now, and he has to get back as quickly as possible. Looks like all of the enemy team is focusing on taking out this E-75, at least for the time being. But hopefully they decide not to go for the cap and think that they've got this one in the bag, because if the 3 of those or 4 of them turn around and go for the cap, this one is going to be over. Trying to get a cheeky shot onto this ELC, but to be honest, he can't really stop for that because he has to get back to the base, because like I said, if these 3 or 4 guys decide to turn around and just go for the base capture, there's going to be nothing at all the Allies can do. Although it looks like they're not going for the base capture, so Colonel Cornell stops, picks up kill number 4, and then decides to carry on. As you can see, the IS-3, WZ and the STA-1 all deciding to go for the kills rather than the cap. I think they've got this one in the bag, considering it is 10 kills to 7. And they have the Allied team on the back foot in all locations. Unfortunately, though, they've pushed through a little bit too quickly without really thinking about it, and they're going to get themselves penned in on that bridge there. Just speed this one up a little bit until Colonel Cornell gets back into position. See, coming back with this Pershing here, finds the STA-1, gets a great hit onto him. Unfortunately, it's not enough to take him out. Hopefully the Pershing can get around the corner and get him. Does take some damage in return, but he's got the hit points to be able to do that. And as you can see, the enemy team pushed forward to try and press home the advantage. Unfortunately, they pressed home the advantage in the wrong location. Finds out the IS-3 here, gets a great hit onto him and then bounces one in return. He's going to have the reload on this IS-3. I think you would have to get a super high roll to be able to take him out here. Pershing tried to go for the track there, but unfortunately that one didn't quite connect. Not quite able to take out the IS-3, but one more hit should be enough to do it. He's going to use this corpse here as a little bit of cover, and I'm going to try and take this guy out, although he is hiding pretty damn successfully now. Although not quite successfully enough, and Colonel Cornell takes him out, and that's kill number 5. Now they've got to reassert themselves on this left-hand flank where they originally came from. The 2 of them not looking fantastically healthy. Colonel Cornell's got about half hit points, Pershing about a third. Super Pershing threatening in the middle with backup. There he is there. He's pushed way too far forward, all on his own. Really should have waited for his allies. Unfortunately, he got a sneaky shot through the side of Colonel Cornell's armor there. Lost a little bit of hit points that he didn't really need to. Probably should have tried to keep his front armor on target, but didn't know what kind of tanks he had in reserve as backup there. And they've managed to even this one nicely now at 12 kills to 13. Takes a little bit of damage from the Pershing, but it's able to take him out and evens this game up perfectly now at 13 kills to 13. So last time this AT-15 and Tiger 1 were spotted, they were all the way in this south here. You can see the Pershing and Colonel Cornell sticking together. It says stick together, don't split up. And the Pershing says negative and then immediately splits up. So it's like he's like a sultry teenager saying, don't tell me what to do. I will go where I please and do as I please. Decides to fall back as this AT-15, this Tiger 1 have probably pushed over the centre here. And the Pershing going to try and get spots on them and hold their attention from the front. So hopefully Colonel Cornell can hit them from behind. Oh, very unfortunate to miss that AT-15 there, because that was a fantastic opportunity to get his rear armour. Unfortunately, now he's going to have to contend with the front armor of this AT-15, and the fast-firing cannon of that AT-15 is going to make it very, very difficult. I don't know what the Pershing was thinking, going all the way around the back of both of those tanks, because now they're both in the uncomfortable position of being full on in front of this AT-15 with its formidable armor, but it looks like he's been spotted out now. Can he allow his gun to close in for long enough and take him out? Not quite. That one just about bounced, and I think the AT-15 might have the alpha damage to be able to take out Colonel Cornell in one shot here, and that would leave him with the uncomfortable task of having to rely on the Pershing to take him out. Trying to get hits onto this AT-15, but it is made of Sovietanium, and it's very, very difficult to damage there, so he just switches up to HE rounds, considering he only has 140 hit points. A couple of good HE round should be enough to take him out. You can see that one did 72 damage. One more good hit, hopefully, should be enough to take him out before he sneaks behind the hill. There it goes. AT-15 demolished. 9 kills and plenty of damage. The replay actually crashed in the middle, so he did a lot more than 3,830 damage there. Just didn't quite display that one properly. So, thanks very much to Colonel Cornell for sending that awesome replay in. Thank you to you guys for watching. Don't forget, if you've got yourself a great replay, send that into replay@screenreality.com. Link for that's in the description. Just attach the replay file to the email or send me the link to the What Replay website and I can take a look at that one. If you enjoyed this video, found it useful, informative, you enjoyed it, or you just thought it was great, then consider hitting that subscribe button, because there's a lot more World of Tanks content on this channel. I've been Maxwell, this has been World of Tanks, and I will catch you guys next time.